Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of 360 Degree Data Podcast. Today I'm going to explain how to create an SQL agent that talks to your BigQuery dataset and retrieves information based on natural language prompt. This has got several interesting use cases such as building your own analytics application or business intelligence apps. So let's crack on. I'm going to explain three different aspects here. First is how to set up your BigQuery dataset using some sample data. And secondly, how to create a service account in your BigQuery so that your program, your Python program can get authenticated to access your BigQuery dataset. And finally, a simple Python code that creates an SQL agent using Vertex AI. So let's look into the BigQuery first. Google Cloud has a BigQuery option here, so you can either select there or you can type BigQuery in the search bar, which will take you to the BigQuery section where you have so many different options. For simplicity purpose, I'm going to explain how to add your own data. If you have your data in CSV, you can click on add data and select the local file option. So in this case, I've used a test data set from Google.com, which has got loads of several sample machine learning data sets. It's very useful and it's free. So you can select and download your own test data set for your own use case. So in this case, I've selected a sample bank transaction data set from Google.com. So once you select the local file option, it will ask you to create a dataset ID and a table name, which is all very important. Make a note of it so that you can access it. You can mention that in your code when you create a connection to your BigQuery. So I've already done that. So if I go into my dataset, you can see I've created a dataset called KOW_BankTran, and my table name is BankTran, and you can see some sample dataset I've loaded from Google.com. So that's how you create a dataset and a table. Now, once you have created the dataset and table, then the next step is to create a service account. So you can type service account here, which will take you into the service account page, where it will give you an option to create your own service account. In this case, I've already created it, but I will explain to you how to create your service account if you haven't done that already. So you have a create service account option. It is disabled. I think it's a browser issue. So I'm going to click this option here, and it's going to bring a page where you have to specify the service account name and service account ID. You can give your ID, whatever ID you want. So once you have created your service account, you have to specify principals and permissions, what permission you need to access, you need to provide for your service account. So I would suggest provide the BigQuery user and editor access, so your code will have access to select and also read, write, update any other operations you want to provide. So once you've selected the necessary access, the last step is to create a JSON key. So go to the create key option, where you have an option to create your new key. Select the JSON file, and then once you create it, it will download to your local laptop, and upload this JSON file to your server where your Python code resides, or in an appropriate folder, so you can mention that in your Python code. So that's the second step to create a service account. Now the third step, let's go to the console, where I've already created a simple Python program, which you can see in the screen. So in this case, first I'm providing the Google API key, which is important if you are doing anything via the GCP, if you're accessing any of the Google APIs. In this case, I'm using the Vertex API. So I'm also, for this purpose, I'm using SQLAlchemy and LangChain to create the agent and SQL agents, and to create the SQL agent. So we have already gone through the steps to create an agent in the previous podcast. So you define the LLM and specify what model you are going to use. In this case, I'm using Gemini 2.5 Flash. And then the next step, when you're creating an agent, you can specify a toolkit. It can be a search toolkit or your own function to perform a operation. In this case, I'm going to provide an SQL database toolkit. So this SQL database toolkit is created using the SQLAlchemy framework, which I've uploaded earlier here. So I'm creating an SQL database connection first using the connection string. So the connection string comprises of what is the type of the database. In this case, I'm using BigQuery, followed by project ID and dataset. So these are the information you will provide while you're creating your dataset using BigQuery. Project ID is your project in your GCP cloud, and then followed by credentials path. So this is the path where you have stored your JSON file. The previous step where we downloaded a JSON file after creating a service account. So you have to refer the JSON file. So this is the connection string that provides access to your BigQuery dataset. So once you have created the database connection, so you provide that in this SQL database toolkit function where you provide the database and LLM. And the final step is to create the SQL agent, where you specify the LLM and then toolkit. In this case, the toolkit is the SQL database toolkit, and then any other tools that you need to access. In this case, you are providing all this information, all this database tool for your code to access the BigQuery dataset. And the next step is all creating a simple front end so that you can demonstrate how this agent works. So in this case, like in previous podcast, I'm using a Streamlit framework. So I'm creating a simple title and an input box and a chat framework to accept a natural language prompt from the users and then pass it to the agent. You're running the SQL agent here and provide a response back to the user in the chat window. So that's our simple code to create this SQL agent. Now let's run this code and see how it works. So like any other Streamlit application, you need to run using Streamlit run. So in this case, I'm doing Streamlit run, BigQuery, Big Chat, Gemini. py is my code, so I'm running this. So let's access this URL. So let's run that Streamlit URL and access the Streamlit application. There you go. You've got the chat prompt, the user interface that we created using Streamlit. Now let's run a query. I'm going to ask what is the average balance in my data set. So that's a simple query. I hope it'll run very quickly. So it has provided the average balance here. It has converted my my prompt here and then converted that to SQL, ran it against the BigQuery data set and provided me the response. Now let's ask another query. Give me a list of my top 5 accounts and balances. So that it has provided a list of top 10 accounts and the latest balances, which is very accurate directly from the BigQuery dataset. This is amazing result here, and it explains how powerful agentic frameworks are, that it can access your BigQuery dataset or Oracle or any other a complex database and provide information based on natural language prompt. Again, this has got various different complexity. If you're accessing several different data set and several high volume data set, obviously there has to be some process. You need to provide some level of performance enhancements, and you need to build something in between. But this is a very simplified form of an SQL agent that talks to your BigQuery data set, so that you can enhance this to create your own business intelligence app. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this topic useful. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe to 360 Degree Data Podcast for more content on AI, machine learning, and data programming. And don't forget to drop a comment below with topics you'd like me to cover next. See you in the next episode.